Hello and welcome to Climate Check with me, Mary Mwiikisa. Now today on the program, we focus on Zambia's mining sector, the environment and society. And of course, we will be zeroing in onto various activities happening in Sinazongwe and Sinazongwe district in terms of mining, community displacements and compensation. This is Climate Check. Join me on the other side. Now imagine if trees could provide Wi-Fi, just how many trees you would plant? Well, they provide oxygen. We definitely cannot do without it. Destruction of nature such as forests has led to irreversible climatic changes to our world. Join me as I talk to policy formulators, change makers and climate change interest groups on Climate Check, weekly on this channel. Now you are the solution to climate change. Welcome back. And we had an opportunity to speak to Mr. Vuyo Mapango, who is a project manager for the Strengthening Respects for Environmental Rights project in Zambia, who are actually the sponsors of our program under HIVOS. And we spoke about Sinazongwe and mining and the communities. These are his views.
Sinazongwe is a big town, so what I may say is only based on the context in which we are operating. So as a project that is under HIVOS, we are working with the Center for Environment Justice. So they are the lead partner that actually understand what is on the ground. But in the short period that we visited there, we are seeing that in the past 5 years, we've seen an increase in mining activity, mainly focusing on coal, from about 4 mines to about 14 currently. So that's quite a huge jump. And because most of the mining activity in the areas that we visited are taking place underground. So these have brought about an issue of cracking grounds. That includes fields that were used for agricultural activity. We are looking at cracking of homes. Yeah. So these are issues that have brought concern. And if not last year, ZEMA brought a standing order to direct the company to support the families in relocating. Yeah, so what we see in the context of relocation and related compensation is we don't think, looking at the compensation packages, they do not really match with what is being exchanged. And there's a lot of information asymmetry among the people that are being displaced. They really do not know. We are looking at cases, for example, of having people compensation of 2 kwacha per square meter. I mean, what can you do with 2 kwacha? And their compensation mainly focuses on infrastructure that has been placed on the land and ignores the actual value of agricultural land, whether improved or unimproved. So then what you exchange for that land could be 10, 15 hectares is only the structure that you had. That's what is only valued. The actual value of the land and the coal beneath is not valued. And so we see that as an institution as HIVOS, we believe that such shifts in terms of displacement and related compensation only drives the already poor into deeper poverty. We must be aware and cognizant that most of people living in rural communities, they may not have livestock, they may not have different things, but at least what they have, what gives them identity is pride, and pride is land. But then when you take the very thing that gives them identity away from them and exchange it for something which is very meager, escalates poverty. And last time I remember we talked about this. When you look at the United Nations Guiding Principles on Business and Human Rights, it says that the number one duty of the state is to protect. Yeah, and then comes the role of corporate entities, and then the last entity to be considered is the human agent, who should receive redress from violations, redress in terms of fair compensation, redress when they are injured at work. So this should be looked upon, but the only entity that can look upon it is not the company which is causing the violation. It's the state whose responsibility it is to protect the people. For Christians, they believe the earth has existed for 6,000 years, and others, okay, there are many, but what I'm trying to say is there was a creation of land. Land is there, right? But there's no future creation of other lands. There's no future expansion of Zambia. Zambia has 75 million hectares of land, and that's it. We are not expanding our borders or creating more Zambia somewhere. So implying that what we are doing on our current holding of land has a great implication on future generations. The classical scenario in Sinazongwe, you find that when people are displaced, they really have nowhere to go. Yeah, so they've been staying on this village for 50 plus years, and then now the time comes they have to go. For what reason? There is mining. So mining found those people dwelling in those holdings that they have. So then it begs a lot of, it has a lot of questions that need to be answered, that where is oversight from state actors? Who should have ensured that when compensation is done, people should be taken to better places. Yeah, their livelihoods should not be disrupted. People stay in tents. Look at the rains are almost upon us. People are living in tents. So what plans should the state have for those communities? Agricultural land. We're talking about agricultural land and food-related food security. When people are displaced from their agricultural land, you do not easily just jump and say, oh, my chief, give me another agricultural land. So that implies that those people have lost their sources of income, their sources of livelihood, the very thing that used to help them send children to school when agricultural land is affected. As HEVOs are working through the Center for Environment Justice, have been working with the traditional leader there. She's been Chief Sinazongwe. She's been a great supporter of this project. And some of the issues that are arising in her chiefdom, she raises, they are also taken to a table, and she's well aware. But there's only so much that traditional leadership can do. Yeah, there are parts that state actors should be proactive in. I mean, these are Zambian citizens. They are not like maybe coming. I mean, let's look at Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Every human agent, whether a foreign national, whether coming from wherever, they have need for dignity. Dignity of where they stay, dignity on how they live, on what they eat. This should be the concern of every well-meaning state actor. And I believe that we as civil society, we can only do so much in training the communities on their environmental rights, in training the traditional leadership on their environmental rights. But then there comes in the role which is indispensable, the role of the state, to ensure, because what the state decides to do can become a policy, can become a law. So only the state has that power to enforce certain decisions on protecting the people against displacement and unfair compensation. They should be free, informed, and prior free and informed consent before any such activities take place. It is the responsibility of the state. It has the duty. Yeah, so there should be oversight, constant oversight from state actors to protect the people. That is number one. Before we even go to defense and everything, the well-being in times of peace of the people of the country should be guaranteed by the state. That is number one responsibility of the state. And then for us as civil society, our role has been, for example, we work closely with ZEMA. We're working closely with WAMA. We also work with the Ministry of Green Economy and the Ministry of Mines. So we support a lot of interventions that what really, for us to be a voice to the communities, sometimes not all things, the state actors cannot be everywhere. But our footprint as civil society, even not just HEVOs, but other players in this space are able to see where the challenges are and then bring them to light. So we have trainings, for example, for duty bearers on environmental law enforcement. Our partner, Zambia Institute of Environmental Management, is strong on that, and they're able to develop curricula that can help, and that has been helping in one or another our state actors.
Thank you for talking to us.
Pleasure. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Interesting conversation there with Vuyo. And up next, we have a documentary that showcases the real life situation in Sinazeze and Sinazongwe district and the impacts of mining on the environment and communities. Take a look.
When the ground began to crack beneath their feet, they knew something had changed. In the far south of Zambia, beneath the fertile fields of Sinazeze, the earth had been hollowed out. A mine dug deeper, and the ground gave way. For families who had lived here for generations, the land was more than soil. It was life itself. But as the cracks in the earth spread, so too did the cracks in their lives. They were about to lose more than land. They were about to lose their way of life.
Ndime mavuto simubala bona ndakhala mwasi amajere kuti akazikalirwa makuti akomenera twawata nkuko mtula mukwasi mupati bya mukwasi kama ntomwe batuli 8 enyegera ni mpati basi amajere pali kuli mama kati pali kuli mama papo mayinza onse kuli mankwali utupanga uti tubeka boto
Mesteri yaso akazwa mumunzi mwasi abunyangu akwanisa 17 years akali yakidemanda amalendi akali 12 so ndakali disa shop onya twakali yakidya munzi aziba ziyangombe aziyampongo makalukuni wasandali bobidi akulima munda ndakali kulima mwamwini.
The cracks came after mining began below their homes. The land shifted. The houses followed. The people were told to move.
We are here in Siabunyangu and Ntandawale village, where we are looking at our people that are being relocated after Kolamko received a protection order from Zema to resettle the people around this place, especially that there is induced environmental degradation. There are a lot of huge cracks on the ground that are posing danger to the lives of our people around here. And all of us are very concerned, government included, and traditional leaders, civil society, and the community at large. The company has made a move and people are being relocated. We've witnessed about 53 of them are being relocated, going to various areas.
Basi kama myota mwapalinga zintu zyangu amukauli deka proti bamutora na atamuneyaga nkumwinko kubagambire batubikire tu matenti
bandi pavya balama nderi bamba 2 months ali mbayoli bwesa so ina plan muri 2 months njakuli manyika kuti wandiyage ingandabya kuti wanita nenga kwana 2 months njida kapekoti ni batana lichosia Isa ingandanga yakujanika nampa window ile level mbobo kunoonanza.
For Stelia, as for many others, the compensation could not replace what was lost: the homes, the land, the security.
Maninji bandipedde akali 40 pin. So mumaleyo twawala ploti ya 18 pin kamalika kashala ako. Inkonkitwanda kuti matina ngamunyala ngiba akatusira ambitokolomone tuyase. Foto umefuta ambi. So anto umwebi ya kuti ya ploti anganda amazenke yako na 70.
The compensation is not really enough. We are very concerned as an organization because, if somebody is given a 2 kwacha per square meter, you find that somebody with a larger portion of land may simply end up with 10,000 to 15,000. And what's that for somebody who has lived in that land for over 50 years? And where can they even go?
Once maploti ngitu akalikupimya, takuwa akashala vyombo mwenyewe. Kambonga nuwa ula produce kuti kumbere ndiyo jana chibutu. So ale maploti akambombo mena vyombo, bakalikubweza vyo ngande arobi ula ngande alokwa mana ploti taku.
Mbebori bangu ndabambira kuti ani nizana ilandi yose iributi. Maswe tupavyo nizana ingande aronje mweyaka nyingape. Nemenda alishupite. Ibaye uti kaba tuporera vyola awazi. Tujane menda ako. Uta ukupenga utachipipe. Amina tupenge devya. Pamaini. Besire utokwa. Parangula pesena kwa utiwa. Tube safe. Kamba gaino nga mpoba kwisia. Paremba uti danger. Paremba uta kwa siku. No muli miunda no mubalembe de danger. Nituwa kalali. Kama ino miunda ilashopa. Alimugu ujana munda. Tampongwa ujana pe. Ibe.
Much as we appreciate these companies coming into these areas, bringing employment, and government can be able to tax companies, but mining companies at the same time, they are disrupting the cultural heritage of our people. There are shrines here. There are sensitive areas like graveyards. There are customs really which guide, and people really respect these areas. They are closer to their hearts.
Earlier in the week, HIVOS, under the Strengthening Respect for Environmental Rights project in Zambia, held a workshop with journalists from various parts of the country focused on teaching them how to report on climate change and environmental justice, as well as many other aspects. This was a gathering of minds that are going to tell impactful stories in their communities. Our staffer, Dominic Davis Chifumbe, was part of the journalists that underwent training, and he now reports.
Conferences on environmental rights for journalists are critical for strengthening media coverage, fostering accountability, and driving public engagement on crucial environmental issues. These events bridge the gap between complex science, policy, and public understanding, ensuring a more informed and impactful discourse. However, in a bid to strengthen the conversation on environmental rights and climate justice, HIVOS held a micro-conference on amplifying environmental rights, strengthening respect for environmental rights in Zambia project. Vuyo Mapango, project manager and HIVOS, highlighted the objectives of the conference.
We're here engaging with journalists, above 30 journalists from across the whole country. We're having people from Western Province, from Eastern, Northern, Kasama, name it. So the idea is how can we as journalists, how can journalists help raise voices for climate and environmental justice? How can the story of environment and climate justice be told better by journalists? These are people that are on the ground. They see the changes that are happening in terms of climate change. They see the challenges that people are facing, farmers, miners, people in mining towns, those at the fringes of mining. They are able to see these changes. And then our desire, our interest in this program is how do we let these journalists tell these stories better, that the general populace can find interest in environmental related stories. I want to read a story with an environmental context that is exciting, that is captivating. How do I not just scroll above it and let it go? How can I as an ordinary citizen find interest in stories that pertain to the environment? I mean, the environment impacts everyone.
Dr. James Wakiaga is UNDP resident representative and was represented by Esther Mlekwankoma, program analyst, energy and environment, UNDP.
We gather at a time when climate crisis is no longer a distant threat. It is a lived reality for millions, from floods and droughts to rising temperatures and disappearing biodiversity. The impacts are disproportionately felt by those least responsible and least equipped to respond. At the front lines of the climate emergency are the marginalized communities, women, youth, and children.
And journalists that attended the conference were enthusiastic about the impact of the conference.
This is something that hits us, and I think from the presentations there, it was said that if we don't do anything, if we don't do something, this will kill us.
If we want climate change, climate issues to be things that should be spoken about, and the same way we have politics and football on media houses, we want to have climate issues on media houses. Let them call for these conferences in almost all the provinces.
The journalists were joined by various media experts who shared practical tips on impactful news reporting.
Use your family members, use your friends. Can they sit and listen to your story that you've written? Can they sit and waste their time watching that story? Can they sit and waste their time to read the story?
The challenge is amongst all of us in here. What have we learned and what news stories have we decided we are going to come up with as a follow-up from February 2024?
When you want to anchor your story on human experience, it will become very, very easy for people to relate to what you're trying to communicate. If you are going to document, like Makanda has been doing a fantastic job, if you're going to document what people are going through, we're just seeing a short documentary here where a lady is saying we compensated 40,000 kwacha. In the Sinometro's case, it's a story of people being compensated 20,000, 30,000 for damage that has destroyed the environment for 10, 20, 30 years. And we don't even know the health effects that are coming out of that. So I think you need to really go on the ground and speak to the people and tell a story in a manner that your mother, your grandmother, and the people in the village are really still going to be able to understand. When we complicate it, nobody will get it.
The journalists here, my only encouragement is the phone for the next couple of years will be your friend. The cell phone has become one of the most powerful communicating tools in modern day era.
Conferences on environmental rights are crucial as they equip journalists with the specialized knowledge and resources needed to effectively report on complex environmental topics. Dominic Davis Chifumbe, reporting for Climate Check in Lusaka.
Now imagine if trees could provide Wi-Fi, just how many trees you would plant? Well, they provide oxygen. We definitely cannot do without it. Destruction of nature such as forests has led to irreversible climatic changes to our world. Join me as I talk to policy formulators, change makers and climate change interest groups on Climate Check, weekly on this channel. Now you are the solution to climate change. We have come to the end of the program for this week. I'll be back next week, same time, same channel. Thank you so much for your time. Remember to play your part in environmental protection and climate justice. My name is Mary Mwiikisa. Goodbye.